Milo kicking to Cunningham, who's been good tonight on the returns. And the cover team gets down there and limits the damage and stops him at the 44.
Well, talking about limiting damage and stopping momentum, that's on the shoulders of number 4 right now, and Drew Tate. It's all momentum to Saskatchewan right now, and they feel like they've got the hot hand offensively. You've got to believe Tino Sunseri is in that comfort zone for, maybe the first time. And now it's up to the Rider defense, see if they can keep the momentum. It's up to Drew Tate to try and take some of it away by getting about 3-4 first downs here.
Matt Walter off the left side, quickly brought down.
Now you mentioned jinxes, and we've said to fans many, many times that commentators cannot jinx anybody. Hockey goalies, players, or teams on the field. Maybe players can.
Yeah, we heard Anthony Parker use the S word in the third quarter. By the way, that last tackle made by the newcomer Brandon Boudreau, former Hamilton Ticat, who caught Corey Chamberlain's eye last year in the Grey Cup game. Second down, Tate to throw, and what a hit! Simon Charbonneau-Campo with one of the heaviest hits of the season, and he'll need some help. He was open for a split second, and then Marche Green delivered the hit.
Just flowing to the football, and Marche Green actually looked like he was playing the ball, not playing to make the hit. And they collide.
Charbonneau.
Oh, hey.
Marche Green's been the extra DB on those second down situations tonight. Big breakup and a 2-and-out, and we'll get back to Charbonneau when we return. Another look at the huge collision between Marche Green and Simon Charbonneau-Campo. Graduate of Sherbrooke. We're being careful with him.
Marche Green was playing the football as well. I mean, there was contact with the helmet, but he certainly didn't launch himself into the head of Charbonneau-Campo. He was playing the ball, and they collided, and it was a huge collision.
And that replay shows you clearly not leading with the helmet.
No, not at all. Legal hit, they'll just stabilize and make sure Charbonneau-Campo is okay down there.
Staff from both teams out to work on Campo here. Twice the MVP of the Quebec League when he was in Sherbrooke. Acquired from Hamilton by John Hufnagel. And now to his feet. Good sign, and a nice ovation from the fans here at Mosaic. It's been a tough night for that Calgary offense in terms of injuries. Jeff Fuller went down early. We haven't seen John Cornish, and well, that's a great sign. Campo walking off under his own power, and we would expect he is done for the night.
Asked John Hufnagel about his injuries this year, and he said, it's kind of typical. There's been a lot.
There has been a rash of them, and he wasn't going to use that as an excuse. As many as he's had without his #1 defensive end, without his starting quarterback, without his leading receiver, Marquay McDaniel.
Remember, John Cornish missed a bunch of games early in the season.
But league-wide, it's been a huge issue this week. We learned Andrew Harris gone for the year. Andre Dury today confirmed gone for the year. Lost some important people in the league for the rest of the season. And here in Saskatchewan, they've been in a bind since losing Darian Durant in Winnipeg in the Banjo Bowl. By the way, I only play a doctor on television, but John Hufnagel mentioned to us that Doug Flutie in 1995 had a similar injury. We're not sure if it was exactly the same as Darian Durant, but we tracked the recovery time of Doug Flutie, who was operated on just after Labor Day, came back for the final regular season game. On the same time scale, Darian Durant might be ready for the final regular season game if the injury's the same and the healing process is similar. Scoop there by Dressler, who fields it. Tried to reverse to the short side and runs out of real estate.
Well, Tino Sunseri has established himself now. He comes into the second half of this game, and he's been pretty good in his limited action in second halves. He go back to that Ottawa game, took it to overtime, 234 yards passing in the second half. Tonight, 7 of 8.
Saskatchewan, number 39, half distance of goal. First down.
In the second half. Now, this is a young quarterback that's still going to go through ups and downs. He's going to have a good series. He's going to have a bad series. He's going to have a good game, a bad game. But I think the message he sent to the entire team and to his coaching staff, to Corey Chamberlain, is, I've been groomed, like Matt Dunnigan said at halftime, I've been groomed as the backup. Stick with me as the backup. And I think that's the message he sent to the team tonight, win or lose.
Penalty was against Tim Kronk. Sixth time that the Roughriders start inside the 20. Anthony Allen with a spin, but right into Sean Lemon.
That's what happens defensively. For young players watching, if you maintain your gap control against the run, even if it's on the backside of a play. Lemon is the backside of this play here, but he maintains his leverage and he maintains his gap control. So even though the play's away from him, he slides down, maintains his gap control, and then when it comes back, he's right there to step in and make the hit.
Just a yard for Allen. 2nd and 9, maybe a free play. And they're going to get a first down. Anthony Allen up to the 20. Looked like Freddie Bishop jumped the gun. 9 yards for Allen. Likely they'll decline the penalty, take the first down run.
Offside, Calgary, number 95. Penalties decline. Play results in a first down.
Anthony Allen up to 78 yards on the night. By the way, the Roughriders have not driven for a touchdown this year when starting inside the 20. Calgary's done it 8 times. That's more than double any other team in the league. Sunseri in trouble. Ball's loose. And now they're ruling incomplete.
Yeah, it's incomplete no matter how you throw it forward. If you throw it underhand, if you lateral it, or you push it, as long as it's going forward, it's an incomplete pass if it's not caught, not a fumble. And he, not a great decision. He wanted to get to or actually it was Anthony Allen. Wide open was Rob Bagg, and the pocket collapsed on him.
So 2nd and 10 from the 20. Time running out, but he's got a man over the middle. Boy, and a lot of steamboats to find Brett Swain.
That's all O-line, that play. And Tino Sunseri, knowing he's got this time, now it's 3-man pressure, so he should have time 3 against 5. Juwan Simpson kind of spying him, but never actually goes on any kind of blitz or stun. He just stays back, and Sunseri has tons of time to find Swain.
20 for Swain and a first down. More time, and now he'll take off and run for a first down, and a feet first slide near midfield. They'll mark him at the 51, but it'll move the chains.
Best he's looked, even when you compare it to the second half against Ottawa.
Scoreboard was on fire, and it may have lit the fire under Sinceri tonight that he didn't get the start. Trying to get the finish, and he's got Jerome Messam thundering down the sidelines and cut down at the 24. Messam, biggest reception of the year.
After the start in Hamilton, when Sinceri struggled, I asked him, how do you make the adjustment? What are you changing? He said, you know, I'm missing receivers, so I'm going to aim small so that if I miss small. Aim small, miss ball. Something his dad, Sal, taught him a long, long time ago, and he's looked better.
8 first downs in the last 3 drives. This the 7th play of the drive. Back in Messam's hands to the 20. Has about 3.
And what that means is aim small, miss small. So if you're aiming at a receiver and you miss him by a whole person, it's incomplete. If you're aiming at the decal on the jersey of the receiver and you miss him by a few inches, and he can still make the catch. And that's what Tino Sinceri said. He was making the adjustment. Since that throw to Dan De Palma, he's looked like the quarterback that Saskatchewan Roughriders thought he would be.
The star of the pit, Josh Bell, the safety, has been injured. He's getting attention. Those numbers in relief tonight, the best he has put up. Rough Rider team with just one 300-yard game this year. It came in a loss early against Toronto with Darian Durant. And Sinceri with 2:17 here. And a lot of time left, over 10 minutes in the 4th quarter. 8-point Calgary lead. Back to the no lead is safe CFL tonight.
What a turnaround.
There's Adam Berger in for Josh Bell. Surrey, BC product, once named the BC High School Football Player of the Year. 2nd and 7 for the Rough Riders. Trying to keep this comeback going. Sinceri looking for a lot in the end zone. And Dressler taken down by Wall.
Oh, yeah, no question. There's no question that's interference, and it was Jamar Wall and Adam Berger that were trying to play basically that match coverage from Rich Stubler, where as the receivers come out.
Forward pass interference, Calgary, number 29. Penalty happened in goal. Ball's placed on the 1-yard line with an automatic first down.
See, they both hesitate. Berger's back there along with Wall. They hesitate. That puts Jamar Wall in a chase position. He jumps and screens. Weston Dressler will put it on the 1-yard line.
Second time Dressler has been interfered with in the end zone. Again, Sinceri with Messam. And Sinceri left side this time. Not as good a surge. And no signal yet. It'll be 2nd down. So we go to the 10th play of the drive, and again, George Cortez's offense has not driven the field from inside their 20 to score a touchdown this year. This could get them 2 points away from tying the game. Second and goal. Messam reached in, I don't know. Now they rule touchdown.
Well, they're going to be reviewed. All scoring plays reviewed. And Messam reached across. And I'm not sure if his knee was down or not when he reached, because he got caught in the air. This is the downside of a running back leaving the ground, jumping over the pile.
But is that enough? Looks like that might have been enough to
Yeah,
make
did
the
it
play.
cross the plane when he was in the air?
Because that didn't work. the one on the ground.
Once he was on the ground, he's down by contact. The question is, when he was in the air, did the ball cross the plane? Jerome Mayo catches him. He's down by contact when he reaches.
And is it the stretch right there that...
It's a little bit of a crooked line. Calgary fans are saying, hey, draw a straight line.
You weren't much for drafting, were you? And now they go for 2 in the tie. Can they go 3 for 3? They've scored on 3 straight drives. Sinceri steps up. He's got a man. He's got 2. Anthony Allen tied at 24.
Young man shown something, hasn't he? Tino Sinceri.
It is heating up here at Mosaic. Tie game. Jerome Messam scoring his first touchdown as a Saskatchewan Roughrider. It was 24-0 Calgary. Stampeders authored the biggest comeback of the year 3 weeks ago against Toronto. Cunningham, big return. Up to the 50-yard line. Came back from 26 down against Toronto, but they've let 24-point lead slip away tonight.
Now here's that drive you're talking about starting in their own end. Tino Sinceri really has shown something tonight. I mean, not only has he brought this team back, it started with a touchdown throw to Dan DePalma. And it's been all Saskatchewan momentum-wise since then. Remember, Tino Sinceri has had to make the 2-point convert plays 3 times now.
And Steve Daniels just told us, Suits, that is a new Canadian Football League standard. Drop pass over the middle. Parker can't hang on. And it's uncanny how this game has turned, really, since John Cornus was no longer available. And since Tino Sinceri became available.
It's off the hook now.
Second down, Tate flushed, has a man, and has a clutch first down to Nick Lewis. There is a flag.
Right in front of the Calgary bench.
Would be Lewis's first catch of the game. 14-yard pickup.
Illegal contact on a receiver, Saskatchewan. Number 35, the penalty will be declined. This play resulted in a first down.
Big second and long conversion for Drew Tate.
Really was, as loud as it was for Drew Tate to handle that noise, get the ball even snapped from center, and calmly move himself out of the pocket and get it to Nick Lewis. That's a big, big play.
First and 10. Fake to Walter. Has some time. Wants Maurice Price. Picked off. Tristan Jackson. Fourth interception of the year for Jackson. The first takeaway of the night for Saskatchewan.
Tristan Jackson is going to do a blind turn, a speed turn out of this to get back on the hip of his receiver, Maurice Price. He knows he's got help over the top from Macho Harris, but it's a great blind turn or speed turn by the DB in Tristan Jackson. Spin underneath it and get to that football.
So now the Roughriders take over. 3 touchdowns their last 3 possessions, 243 yards. And Sinceri steps up. He'll have to take off, and he'll get taken down. Lynn J. Shell, the tackle. Let's check in with Lee Jones.